The Trump Organization, it died as it lived. Fraudulently. Look, folks, it is very difficult to come back from an obituary. It looks like it's the end of the line for Donald J. Trump, Esquire. No way! He comes up with $500 million by the end of the day. I've been saving this since 2016, and it's finally here. And it's finally here. Judgment Day!
Moments ago, the former president got a financial lifeline from a New York appeals court.
This isn't gonna be good.
It reduced the bond he must pay in a civil fraud case from more than $450 million to $175 million and gave him more time to pay for it.
Well, that's still something. That's 10 days to come up with $175 million? I mean, unless he's about to come and do a shit ton of money, I don't see how he does that.
The recent merger of Truth Social could net the former president some $3 billion.
Motherfucker!
Poor little Jon Stewart. Poor little Jon Stewart cannot seem to understand why Donald Trump gets away with it all. Every time they seem to have him backed into a corner, he gets out. He gets out. And again, Jon Stewart can't seem to get it. He can't seem to get it. Maybe, just maybe, it's because he has done nothing wrong. And they're going after him over and over again because they want to have him taken down because they don't want him in office. Maybe. Just maybe. I mean, again, they had left this man alone until about a year ago. Shortly after he announced that he was going to run for president again, they went after the man. And Letitia James, yeah, she is going to fail too. Because again, nothing is there. Nothing. Now I'm going to break it down a little more for you and for your viewers as to why he did nothing wrong at all with this. But guys, watch this.
What did Trump actually do to earn this penalty? Well, it turns out that for a decade, whenever Trump wanted to get a loan or make a deal, he would illegally inflate the value of his real estate. For instance, suggesting that his 11,000 square foot penthouse was a 30,000 square foot penthouse, I guess somehow including the sky in the calculation. We all do it. I mean, in my license, I'm not listed as 5'7", you know. I'm listed as 30,000 square feet. And the Attorney General of New York knew that Trump's property values were inflated because when it came time to pay taxes, Trump undervalued the very same properties. It was all part of a very sophisticated real estate practice known as lying. So the judge calculated that the value that he gained from the lying with interest was around $454 million. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, that sounds pretty straightforward. Whatever gains you got from lying, you have to pay back. Well, that's because you're a f***ing idiot. No, Judge.
We're talking about a victimless crime. They find an ordinance or a law that has never been used ever before in anyone else.
He's committed bank fraud where there's no victim. It makes no sense.
No victims. There was no victim. The ruling is blatantly unfair.
That didn't go over very well with the investment community because we're all asking each other, who's next?
Who's next? The persecuted minority of the investment community. First they came for the arbitrageurs, and I said nothing. For I was not an arbitrager. And then they came for the quants. Which I could be, I don't know what a quant is. But I am surprised to hear this from Kevin O'Leary, a guy who's such an asshole. Wait. That even the other people on Shark Tank thinks he's an asshole. Now, he's very chill. I'm surprised to hear that he's so chill about overvaluing something that he thinks is victimless, because when someone tries to do that to him...
Which one of you do I absolutely tear to pieces now on a $28 million valuation?
You think this is worth $10 million?
Absolutely.
Okay, now I'm going to rip your pieces. Are you out of your mind?
Your valuation's insane.
Your valuation's crazy. I think that's a crazy valuation.
I think your valuation is stinky poo-poo.
I can't believe I had to explain this, but when a bank makes a loan on a property, again, they don't take the person's word. Oh no. They send somebody out, again, to appraise the property. Somebody, I might say my house is worth $1 million, but the bank is probably going to disagree with me because it's not. But the fact of the matter is, we have got to understand they're not going to blindly loan the money to somebody because, again, they said, I have this property, and again, it's worth whatever amount. No. They're going to send somebody out, they're going to appraise the property, and they're going to say, hey, look, that is a good deal. We're going to take it. You have collateral, and you're credit worthy. We're going to get our money back. We feel confident. And they make the loan. See, a bank, they do their due diligence. They understand what they're doing. They understand what they're getting into before they make the loan. They have underwriters. Again, they understand what they're doing. But Jon Stewart wants to convince people that's not the way it is. Again, the bank, Donald Trump told the bank, my property is worth whatever. So again, loan me the money. And they said, okay. And they loaned the money. That's not what happened. They loaned Donald Trump the money. They knew what the property was worth. They loaned the money. They knew that Donald Trump was able to pay back the loan, and he did. He did pay back the loan. So again, no victim. But they want to convince you that because the tax valuation of the property and the loan amount were different, that again, he values his property, he overvalues his property. Number one, majority of people probably overvalue their property. They do. Number one. And number two, again, tax valuation of a property is always going to be less. I mean, again, my house, the tax valuation of the property of my house is less than what it's worth on the open market. It's always going to be. So again, you can say whatever you want to say. You can say Trump told them, and he probably did, that his property is worth more. But they didn't take his word for it. They came out, they said, okay, the property is worth X amount. And you can pay back the loan. And he did pay back the loan. And the tax valuation of the property is going to be less. Always is going to be less. And yet there is no victim.
How is he not this mad about overvaluations in the real world? Because they are not victimless crimes. First, the banks got paid back at lower interest rates, although, to be honest, who gives a shit? But second, money isn't infinite. A loan that goes to the liar doesn't go to someone who's giving a more honest evaluation. So the system becomes incentivized for corruption.
Jawman, you said the loan should be going to somebody else. They should be going to somebody else because, again, Trump is defrauding them, so the loan should be made to somebody else. Look, man, again, the bank apparently likes to do business with Trump and Trump with the bank. So again, they know what they're doing. They understand how to make the loans. Stay out of their business, man. You're a damn joke.
And this is part of a different Trump fraud case, but avoiding taxes hurts all of us. Donald Trump's shenanigans cost the city of New York. And to be honest, and let's be frank here, that is money that the city of New York could have used to build more Walgreens. Now, some blocks only have 2 of them.
Is that you're trying to convince your audience that, you know what, Donald Trump is not paying his fair share of taxes to New York City. Yeah. I don't think anyone overvalues their property on taxes so they can pay more to the city. Nobody. At least I don't know anyone that does. And again, they're not taking his word for it. But I mean, they're doing their own assessment. Their own. But he's convincing you that Donald Trump is defrauding the city. That's not even close to being true. I mean, again, Jon Stewart, I mean, what happened, man? Back in the 90s, you used to be somewhat relevant. You had some good things to say. What happened? What happened, man?
I hear about the so-called victimless crimes, but the laws on the books, falsification of business records in second degree, issuing false financial statements, insurance fraud, conspiracy, and all these different aspects of it, those are actual crimes. I take it your point is that these should not have been prosecuted?
Everything you just listed off is done by every real estate developer everywhere on earth in every city. This has never, ever been prosecuted.
There is a theory in law that if enough people commit a crime, it automatically becomes legal. You're familiar with the purge, are you not?
John, man, that's not what Kevin is saying. Not at all. He's not advocating for crime, not one bit. What he is saying is in the real world, things are subjective. Again, there's a market, and you pay for something what the market dictates. It's subjective. I mean, again, anyone that's been in a bidding war over a house, they understand that. Again, the price of the house might have gone up 25 whatever thousand bucks because, again, 5 or 6 people are bidding on it or more. And again, what that person gets the house at after the bidding is done is apparently what the house is worth, at least to them. You have to understand that. So again, what Kevin Lee is saying is, I mean, again, that happens all the time. People, again, they value things differently. You know, but again, you can't crack down on somebody and try to have them arrested or whatever because, again, they value something higher. They value it at what they value it at. It's up to other people to determine if that is correct. It's up to the banks to determine, hey, yeah, that's correct or that's not correct. We're going to loan money based on that or not. I mean, that's the way it is. So again, we have to understand it's subjective.
Entitled arrogance. I don't know if you know this, but most people just can't commit fraud and expect to face no repercussions, even if everyone's doing it. Try getting a car loan by saying you have 10 times as much money as you really do, or claim 20 dependents when you have no children, or say you make slightly less money to qualify for food assistance. I will guarantee you there are not just financial consequences for those lies, but criminal ones. But don't tell that to the investment community, because in their minds, in pursuit of profit, there is no rule that cannot be bent. There is no principle that cannot be undercut. As long as you and your friends making money. And the only immoral practice, hold on, I'm not done. If I could raise my chair up, I would. Apparently, the only immoral practice in the capitalist system is to use that money for people who may need it.
Fraud, waste, and abuse, people never want to be honest about, but a lot of these parents will, they abuse the system. A lot of them are encouraged to abuse the system.
Where do you think the money that you get for food stamps and other things come? Who do you think pays that money, your health care? You're taking their money and you just don't seem to care.
The guy who walks out of the store with a bag of food, is he entitled to it? Because food is a necessity and he doesn't have enough of it?
You nutrition-needing motherfuckers. Bringing our system to its knees. Stealing is only justified when you already have too much.
Again, this stuff right here is nothing but absolute bullshit. And nothing but. Again, man, Jon Stewart's trying to get you upset. Emotional. He wants you upset because, again, he wants you believing that they're virtuous. They're virtuous. But again, by taking it for the poor person, the poor people that defraud the system, they take advantage of, that again report their income as lower so they can get food stamps. So again, they can take advantage of the system or they can steal. And again, we have to remember Trump pays into that system, that very system. He employs people that pay into that very system. But again, we got to buy into the notion that Jon Stewart is somehow virtuous because he's standing with poor people. They're stealing, they're defrauding. And again, he's mad at Donald Trump because Donald Trump dared to value his properties possibly over, allegedly, I don't know. And again, to get a loan, not understanding or not seeming to understand that the bank is going to check on that. They're not going to blindly give that loan. Number one. And number two, the tax situation. Again, they're mad because Trump apparently, allegedly, undervalued his property. But people check on that too. The people, government, they check. Again, what's that property worth? What can we get from it tax-wise? What can we get? What can we expect to get? But again, they people like Jon Stewart, they expect you to believe that no one checks and that Trump is just running wild and again defrauding the system. That's not happening. That truly is not happening. But again, they want you to believe it. They want you to believe it. But guys, man, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
You son of a